Hi, this is Frank Rodriguez Villela, and I'm here to show you how to change the strings to your Villela guitar. I'm going to use the VSST, which is the Villela Solid Spruce Top. And obviously, if you're going to change all the strings, you'll probably have a package like this, and it's called the Villela Lower Octave Strings. And I will start with the lower strings first. To install the lower strings, there's inside the wrapping or inside the label, you'll find a little chart and how to install the low strings. If you already have your Villela and you've noticed where the taper is, then it should be no big deal. But in case it popped on you, remember the long taper goes on the machine heads, okay? And then the short taper goes to the bridge and saddle, okay? And this is where the actual trick is gonna be. If you don't remember where it was, and you have to realize, this is, again, the Villela guitars have 12 holes at the bridge, and that helps you where you don't have to wrap it. That's the sort of cool part about this particular design. So we start on the second hole, and so we actually go 1, 2, second hole. I start on the low strings. On my Villela guitars, I start on the low. So I feed it through. And you just have to remember, hopefully you'll remember that, oh no, it was the taper that was on the saddle. Or it could have been the heavy set. So hopefully you'll remember. If for some reason you get confused and you don't know what it is, you'll just go ahead and install the low one, tune it up, and if it for some reason too sharp or it's not in tune, usually it's sharp, then what you have to do is back the string and make sure that the taper goes on the saddle. This is really just depending how we compensated it here at the shop. So we want to go ahead and then, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and say this one is actually on, the taper is on the saddle. So we've already fed it through the second hole. First hole will be, you know, the one, I call it sort of the wrapping. It's the wrapping hole where you actually feed the string again, and you're gonna feed it, you're gonna push the string down, okay? And then you're gonna go underneath. You're gonna do this. You're gonna go underneath the string, because that's where the wrapping is. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold the taper there, and I'm pulling the string. So I'm just gonna pull the string, and now the actual string, the taper, is on the saddle. And now this first hole, once I wrapped it around, it's going over the string. So now you're gonna do this. And I said, oh, that's good, that works good. It's in there, it's not gonna slip. They're all classical style strings, and it's all metal wounding. The metal wounding or the round wounding tends to grip on it. And so no wrapping is needed. Now I'm gonna feed it up. Once I feed it up to the actual peg, and you don't have to worry about the slots on the nut. They've already been adjusted if you have my Villela guitar, so there's no big deal. I'm feeding the string through the peg. I'm gonna pull it. Sometimes I actually I just always pull through sometimes I do the back side, but in this case I'm doing the back, the front, going through the front. Now I'm gonna feed the string back through the hole here, through the open. And then on the actual taper, I'm probably gonna put about an inch and a half of taper is gonna be out. That's the part that's gonna basically wrap on the peg. So now I'm gonna do this. I grab the taper and I'm gonna go 3 times around. 1, and then 2, and here's the third one. Now when I actually when I get the third tape or the third wrapping around, I hold the taper, I'm holding it, and then I'm gonna tune it up. Or I'm gonna actually just wind it up. And as I'm winding, I'm sort of putting a little pressure there. And that pressure is really just to keep the string in a straight line and keeping it evenly on the peg. So as I wind up, the string is following my command where it needs to go. You don't want to loosen it up because the string will wind up the way it wants to. Okay, so there is basically this string on your Villela guitar. And now this one I have it where the taper is on the saddle. Okay, so now we're gonna put the 5th string on. So remember we're gonna go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and there's a reason for that. So this is the actual, remember it's a short taper, and long taper will be at the machine heads or the tuning head. And this taper will be at the, short one will be at the bridge. Remember, so each time we put the string is going through the even hole. So in this case, it's gonna be, this one's on the 2nd hole. Okay, so 6 is on the 2nd hole. Now we're gonna do the 5th. The 5th will go through the 4th hole, which will be the even one. And we're gonna work our way from 6 to 1. Okay, so now we're gonna go on the actual 4th hole. And oh, I'm sorry, I was going the wrong one. Okay, so now we're gonna do this. On this case, we're gonna go ahead and say that we don't have to do the taper on the saddle. We're gonna do the actual heavy gauge on the saddle. And then we're gonna see how this taper is here. It's just sort of hanging out there. We're just gonna go ahead and catch it while it's actually out. We'll put it underneath that winding of the string. And then we're gonna go wrap the string on the 3rd. We're gonna go through the 3rd hole. And then I'm actually going to hold the string, and then I'm pulling the actual taper. And now I'm gonna pull here. So I wanna pull the taper, and now the nice thing is now you have the 6th string underneath the 5th string. And so the next one, the 4th string, the 5th string will go underneath the 4th, and then you start trimming them so you can actually have everything underneath the wrapping. That way you don't touch anything on the fretboard. So now I'm going to do the same thing. See how clean it is? There's no wrapping. You don't have to worry about twisting. Now you're going to go straight up. Again, I'm sort of just going to take it up to the machine heads, and I'm going to feed it through, like I say, something like, I usually go through this side. And then I'm always trying to keep tension on the string just so it doesn't fall. And then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it through the bottom. Go ahead and I'm gonna keep, in this case, looks like a little more. I'm probably keeping about 1.5 inches, 1 3/4. Now I'm actually gonna do this. I'm gonna wrap it 3 times. So it's gonna go 1, that's the 1st, 2nd, and now the 3rd. Okay, after the 3rd, then I just sort of pull a little bit, and I hold it. Now I'm holding primarily on the taper, and I'm actually just pulling. As I pull, again, it's just putting everything where it needs to be. We want the string to be straight on the peg, and we want it to have a nice straight line. Again, metal strings tend to have minds of their own. And then I just, again, the slots are already been pre-slotted, and they basically rest on the nut. Okay, so that's basically the first 2 strings. And then you just go down the line and do the same. So basically, 6th string will go through the 2nd hole. 5th string will go through the 4th hole. 4th hole, or 4th string will go through the 6th hole. And then 3rd string would go through the 8th hole. Then 2nd string would go through the 10th hole. And then the 1st string would go through the 12th. And then the string, obviously the actual slot, that's where you do the wrapping. You just go wrap it around. So it's pretty easy. Once you see your actual guitar, you'll see the order of it. And it's just real practical, real simple string change. And that's it. That's pretty much how you wrap around. I have one that I've already done so you can see it. I'm sure you have your guitar and you know what it looks like, but at the end it should look like this. You actually have everything wrapped around, and you have the strings going underneath. And again, it just keeps it from vibrating. So now here's the actual string, the actual guitar all strung up with the Villela strings. So hopefully that made sense and was, if you had any questions, or if you have any questions, you can always just feel free, reach me through my website and contact me, and hope this helped for you. Helped a little to put the strings on. Thanks.